All right, so we were pretty close, or what I thought was pretty close, to getting this piece of junk done. You can see she's looking pretty decent. Got it all back together. Took it for a ride. Runs good. Figured, all right, well, I knew that this rear side axle bearing needed to be changed out. So I figured, oh, we'll swap that out real quick. No big deal. Run it all back together, waiting on the rack. And then I was like, oh, the rear brakes are weird. They're kind of sticky. Let me check and see why. So I pulled the rear brakes, and just so you can see, I ended up with that all over my rags. You can see that right there. Nice, right? Yeah. So then I checked the rear brakes, and that's what they look like. And that's what they look like. And that's what they look like inside. I wonder why they felt weird. Can't figure that out. So that's water. Smell it? Yeah. It's water. So clearly that rear drum seal was not doing its job. The axle bearing shot on this side too. You can see how much it wobbles. So yeah. So we got to swap that out now. All right. So in my searches, I noticed that there is nobody that does a good video on how to remove the rear right axle bearings from a Honda straight axle. So this straight axle, from what I could tell, was used in a vast majority of Hondas, all the way from like the 90s all the way to like the mid 2000s. So the way you can tell if this is yours, there's a lot of videos of people doing the left side. The left side is stupid easy. You just have this here that slides in place, right? Like that. And this hub slides over that. To take this off, and then you have this nut, which goes here. Nut comes off, hub comes off, then the sleeve comes off, and inside the sleeve down there will be your bearings. Okay, that's super easy. And then you also have a rubber O-ring seal on the back of this. Super easy, everybody shows that side. This side, though, with the brakes, it's actually also very easy, but nobody has a video of it, so I'm going to make a video of it. So, step one. Loosen your brake. Now, I already loosened all this stuff, but you're going to take off your brake lines. So, all you do to take those off is you spin these wing nuts. Once you get done spinning the wing nuts, so these are going to be in here like this. Once you get done spinning these wing nuts, you're going to just pull it out. Pull it out, and pull out the bottom one. And I just tucked mine underneath here. Okay. All right, that's done. Then you're going to pull off this breather tube. So you're going to pull it off the backside of the differential. It goes in right here. Pull it off, slide it out of the things, move it out of the way. Okay, so that's all done. Now is a good time to check for your free play with this. I ended up having to lubricate this. You can see how mine works nice. The spring works nice. It brings it right back. Well, I noticed when I first bought it, it wasn't doing that. The reason why, I will show you in a minute. Okay, so then over here, your castle nut's going to be on here. Okay, you're going to need a 30 millimeter or 1.25 inch socket. 1.25 inch socket doesn't fit that well on there, but it works. I actually have a 30 mil also, but I just grabbed the 1.25 inch. Then you're going to slide this knuckle off. Now, obviously, your results may vary. That may not slide off quite that well. I've already cleaned all these parts up, so that's going to slide off. You might have to tap it a little bit. Then there are, 7 8 millimeter small bolts that hold your brake drum cover on. Okay, so pop all those off. They're all around the edge. You can see where they're all around. All around the edge. Then pop your drum off. There's little holes in here that you can get a screwdriver in. So you get your screwdriver in there just like this and pry it off. Okay. Obviously, again, that may not come off that easily, but it will come off. It's not really on there that good. Okay. Brake drum. Then you have the actual drum. This slides right off. Okay. So I guess we can set the camera up here for the rest of this. All right. So brake drum. That's going to slide off. Okay. It may not slide off that easily. You might have to tap it a little bit, but it'll come off. It's not that bad. Mine was. So now, again, this is all cleaned up. When I took this apart, you can see it in my last video, or actually you'll be able to see at the beginning of this video, how muddy and nasty this was originally. So in order to take your brakes off, what you're going to have is you're going to have this little bracket set up like this with 2 cotter pins. Okay, there's going to be a cotter pin there and a cotter pin there. Okay, pull the cotter pins out. This little bracket will slide right off. Then you're going to have 2 springs. One here and one here. Pop those springs out. The way you pop them out, or at least the way I did it, was I just stuck a screwdriver in there and pried it out, and they pop right off. They're not a big deal at all. This comes off. This comes off. These are your brake shoes. Then there's nothing holding this on. So then all that happens is this just pulls. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. In the back, there are going to be 4 nuts. Okay, here's one of them. That's going to come off. And the other one. That's going to come off. Okay. Then, this whole assembly is just going to pull straight off. Okay. I'm going to pull straight off. Then what you're going to have is you're going to have these 2 bearings sitting in here. Okay? You're going to be sitting in there. And then on top of them is going to be a circlip. And on top of that is going to be a seal. So what you're going to do is you're going to pry this seal out. You're going to take this circlip out. Then the 2 bearings, in order to get them out, you're going to flip this bad mamma jamma over. And you're going to take the biggest socket you have, like this one, something that fits on the center race, and you're just going to tap the bearings out from this side. Tap, 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 tap. And they'll fall out the bottom. And then this is done. Okay? Now, something I wanted to mention real quick. This right here, this is what seizes up these brakes. So you can see how this moves nice and smooth. The spring actually works. I can push it all the way, the spring brings it back. I can push it a little bit, the spring brings it back. I can push it just a little, the spring brings it back. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this nut out. Then you're going to want to slide this bolt out. Then you're going to want to take this off. And there's a little tiny spacer in there that has this little tiny triangle section on it. You can see the triangle right there. That's going to come off. Then your spring's going to come off. Then this is what actuates your shoes. So when you put the brakes on, this thing actually spins like that, which spreads the shoes. Right? Spreads them. So you're going to hit this. It's going to spread the shoes open. That's what makes contact with the brakes. Okay, well this in here gets all gummed up, and it makes it very slow to react. So you pull all that off, like I just said, and then you're just going to tap this out. You're going to tap this out that way. And it's going to pop out, and then you're going to clean it, and you're going to grease it, and you're going to sew it back in, and then it's going to work great. And I can guarantee you that that's going to work great, because that's the only reason why these get that seized up. So once we get the new bearings in, I'll show you how to press the new bearings in. But yeah, that's how to service the rear bearings on one of these. Like, comment, subscribe.